Happy Sunday and November 23, 11 a.m. We are live as discussed earlier. So, good morning, everyone, for the complete panel discussion with a very, very senior topic right now today. Uh, Career pivot is something starts from even entry level right now, going beyond 40 years, 50 years. So, this is a huge concern of topic for especially very, very senior leaders who are crossing 35, 40 years of age. They are wondering what exactly they need to do after gaining a considerable amount of experience. Like, let's say, 15 years of experience in accounts, 15 years of experience in HR. After that, what exactly they have to do is become a major concern because the opportunities becomes very, very limited, and the structure is so pyramid that the opportunities moving forward is very, very a thin layer. So that's a concern which we will be addressing for today's panel discussion. Let me begin with a couple of statistics which will definitely open a lot of insights in the entire topic. India has 139 million working professionals aged 40 to 55, but 41% of them feel stuck, not because of lack of experience, but because the market has moved ahead faster than they have. These are the few hard truths. Skill shelf life has dropped to 2.5 years from nearly a decade earlier. AI and automation have transformed 23% of mid level tasks in just 3 years. Traditional middle management has shrunk by 34%, according to LinkedIn and McKinsey studies. Meanwhile, 54% of new growth roles are hybrid roles, which was not in the yester decades. Couple of openings are like product led sales, digital operations, customer success, data enabled decision rules, program management, and analyticals driven leadership. This means the job landscape is not rejecting the 40 plus workforce, it is rejecting outdated skill sets, outdated articulation and communication, outdated branding, and outdated confidence level. Professionals who are reinventing are thriving, professionals who stay still are struggling. Joining with us, incredible panels today, Dhaval Vyas, Product Manager and Career Counselor, Pune, Mr. Kumar Mohan, Senior General Manager, Strategic Alliance and Partnership, Mumbai, Padmaja Narasimhan, Startup Entrepreneur and Leadership Coach, Bangalore. Thank you for joining on a Sunday session and spending your valuable time for next 1 hour, sharing your realistic viewpoints about this particular topic. So, we would like to have your own introduction for a minute and your first impression about this particular topic. Let's go with Padmaja.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me here. I'm Padmaja and having 20 years plus experience in corporate, and also currently I have started my own startup. So pivoting after 40 is my real story, because whenever there is a issue or anything we pivot after 40, I have faced the real time ground level challenges starting my own startup and how to go about with the enriched experience you call. But as and when we talk further, we realize that that experience is not enough to run the show primarily. So this topic is quite close to my heart. That's why when you asked for the topic, I just jumped in and registered this, because it's kind of practical experience I'm living through for the past 2 years. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for joining and looking forward a lot of insights.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Kumar Mohan.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Kumar Mohan, and after 22 years across strategic alliance, partnership, sales, customer experience, and P&L leadership, I'll tell you one thing honestly: the toughest career constraint hits you after 40. Not because we lose ability, but because we gain awareness, and we finally ask, "Is this really what I want to do after next 20 years?" But the world isn't always kind. It throws labels: too senior, too expensive, too late to change. And Many talented people quickly accepted those labels as truth. The reality is different. Some
Right.
of the strongest career moves, the smartest reinvention, and the boldest pivots actually happens after 40, not
Hmm.
despite experience, but because of it. So today's conversation is not about motivation. It's about evidence, real
Right.
people, real pivots, real story of how clarity, courage, and reinvention can create a second chapter that's stronger than first. So let's dive in and answer the question that brought us here. Can you be successful pivot after 40 or is too late? I think let's explore the truth together.
I think you are giving a lot of hopes looking forward. Moving on to Mr. Dhaval Vyas.
Thank you very much, GS, for having me here. Myself, Dhaval Vyas, I am into the corporate for last 20 years. And of late, I have also started my journey as a student's career coach as well as for the working professionals. And this I have done out of my own experience. I have not done very deep sort of bookish understanding of this topic of counseling, but I am someone who has pivoted through my life on the journey of growth, right from the analyst level to senior analyst to the manager to the vice presidential level. I have always made a lot of pivots. And the only thing that comes to my mind when thinking about a pivot, that it is the logical succession or an extension of a role that you are into. So my firm belief is that whether you are a starting level, you are at an experience level, you are a mid management level, or you are a top management level, unless and until you have your why. Now, this may sound a little philosophical, but your why clear in terms of why you are looking for a pivot, you will find all the excuses why it isn't happening. But if you have your why very, very clear that what pivot you are looking for, there are plethora of opportunities. And we will discuss a little more about this from my own experiences, from others' experiences, and some of the learnings that I have received. And very, very excited to join this wonderful panel.
Wonderful. Thanks, and Dhaval, one more time for all panel discussion to join the session. Looking forward with a lot of evidence, as you rightly said, because a lot of people are very very blind, and lack of awareness is the major element here when we are doing pivot. I hope this panel discussion may open certain eyes on certain areas which was not explored, and then maybe going forward they will try to explore those kind of points. Maybe I'll start with Padmaja again. Like, is it like this age bias? Is it like, okay, the moment you cross like 40, people view in a different uh, methodology altogether, or different eyes, that okay, she may not good at in IT, or she may not good at in AI or automation. Everything we have to educate, those kind of things, because business is adopting new automations, new systems, CRM, ERP. And in my previous experience itself, I have seen a lot of seniors struggling to adopt certain automation, be it little ERP automation, they are still struggling to adopt, those kind of things. So is it age bias is a real story? What exactly is it? Like personal branding you'll have to create? What exactly is the real issue?
See, age bias is definitely a real story. And with respect to, if I have to talk about my fraternity, women coming after sabbatical, it is definitely a kind of, impression they have that, skill set would be redundant, which she be the, especially with the manager roles or above, will she be the right candidate? Will she be able to handle the team, the skill set wise or the moral wise or, availability wise? There are a lot of other scopes. Which we are also having. But then the other side, in a management perspective, it is a kind of justification that they're thinking that way because every day the skill sets are changing. The last year, what is the top 10 skill sets is not the same this year. So you need to coexist along with the skills. You need to collaborate with people. You need to understand, and you should always be in a learning quotient in in this space. Where I mean, I'm talking about across all the domains. It's not only HR, it's not only leadership, but across all the domains, people want you to be intact. People want you to be knowledgeable, and it's not about knowledge. You have to apply it in what you do.
Hmm.
So Age bias is definitely there, but how we can overcome as a person is you need to know what is the skill set required for your job, handling your bottom line, and how you can learn from them as well. That learning, the receptive attitude, that matters more in age. So when I restarted by 35, I had the same problem with people, wherein there were a lot of questions asked me. Okay, I mean, I was in a top level, I was an operations manager before sabbatical, handling the entire southern area region. So some kind of, at that time also age bias were there, because I was the youngest manager. People used to come and say me, your age is my experience. Now after, when I age and when I just joined, at that time, there was a shift in the entrepreneur journey also, because most of the youngsters, they opted for starting the startups and they hire us, because they don't have experience, they hire experienced people. But there is always a question mark in their head. Okay, will they adapt to the technology, will they kind of have the skill sets? So that bias was definitely there. And if I would have attended around 20 to 30 interviews, but then the interview call came from only 10 companies.
Hmm.
So first itself they are eliminating. Okay, 35 plus, 40 plus, we don't want them.
Hmm.
So bias is
So
definitely
recruiters
there.
always say branding most matters rather than birthday. So
Absolutely. So when I started my LinkedIn and I started posting relevant content based on my experience, kind of storytelling, then without me asking for offers, I got it.
right,
And how could I post? Because I need to learn. I need to learn from people like the influencers, or the people who are really expert, who have expertise in that domain. So you definitely, you're going to go a level below in your learning. Just start off fresh, and then you have to just side up further. So based on these things, no, age is just a number. I would not never agree. That statement is redundant for me, because age is just a number when you upskill yourself.
right.
That's the
See,
important one.
in the job market, when we are into the job market and we are working with a lot of recruiters, HR, or online platforms like LinkedIn or Naukri, is it are we listing the responsibilities or responsibilities, or not giving an impact? Because for the impact what you have created in the past, they are hiring. Simple logic.
Yeah.
Right. Is it something which we are missing to provide the information about the impact which we have created in the past, or we are just listing out the roles and responsibilities? Maybe in your experience or your friend's experience, you can share.
So, see, I'm also a recruiter. For a short stint, I was a recruiter for US companies. So, we outrightly reject resumes that say that I have managed, I have taken this. But because we see what is the impact. So, if a resume that says I have increased the sales by 10% for a sales executive, that resume matters most, rather than a person who is saying I'm managing the team, sales lead, team initiatives for 40 years. Because you would have taken the initiative, but how will I know what is the impact that is created in the company? So
Correct.
that is the primary thing, from the shift of information to statistics. Now people want numbers. What you have done, what is the impact? So if you collectively put it across, and instead of having a 5-page resume on detailed roles and responsibilities, constrict it to 2 pages, because most of the HRs, they don't have time. It's ATS. And ATS compliance, you need to know, you need the frames you should not use, no colorful, fidgeting resumes, very plain structured resumes. So these are some of the learnings. Even after 40, you need to learn. Because if you're in a company for 10 years, you would not have built your resume based on your skills or whatever, accomplishments that you have done. So you're seeking a job. What do? You just see the job descriptions and you just file it out. Nowadays, Chat GPT is also there. It gives you a ready-made resume. But then even the HRs, they understand what is the outcome that is giving, and how are we going to, recruit. Because not because of the words that you use in the resume, it's because of the skills, it's because the impact, and it's because the trust building what you have it in the resume. So
Hmm.
that is the primary thing. And if you're above 40, even for the promotions, you need to have the skills updated. It's not if you're in the same company also. And if a person is more qualified, less than your age, and he has all the skill set, that's all time the career planning, succession planning will be favorable for him, not for you. So age is also a matter, but when you upskill yourself. to the current trends, or what is required, analyze and what understand what is required for your particular job to scale up. What is my next level of skill? When if you're a team lead, then you have to become a manager, then you need to know what kind of skills are required for managing. So there are certain mandatory skills also. So that's where 40 plus, if you should have a learning quotient, you should also understand it is not that your experience alone will give you the power show what you want to do or scale up in the company or pivot whenever you have a startup. So this is something which is more important. And primarily age bias, gender bias, it happens, but when you hit the right chord with your statistics, I feel people are very generous enough, or they have the clarity to employ somebody in place who are suitable with a suitable experience and expertise.
Right, right, right. So, in your personal experience, the moment you realized, okay, I'm crossing certain ages, what are the areas which you have explored? Did you tried doing some master's degree or certifications or skill element? Where was the moment you realized, oh, okay, I have to upskill, and which are all the areas you started exploring? So, typically, we watch YouTube channels or any other Udemy or Coursera kind of thing. So, that is a typical mentality. But if you suggest our audience in your own personal experience, what has been done and what is the suggested method, the moment somebody is realizing, oh, okay, I'm 40, like now I have to start somewhere. Do you have any suggestions for them to start?
Yeah. See, when I was in sabbatical itself, I was not redundant. I was starting, like, I'm a writer. So I explored content writing. I explored, for posts, social media, those stuffs and all. I learned a lot in this process. I did my digital marketing certification, advanced level. And then I started taking up projects, even you're in a sabbatical, you will just spend a little bit of time. So that I utilize for my learning and my work. Later, as and when I got the time, I just improvised myself. I completed my MBA after marriage. So that is one thing, because I don't want to go for the ground level roles again. It is again, you have established yourself as a operations manager. At least you don't want to take up. But sadly, what happened is there's a shift. As I told you, there was a age bias and there are other stuff. So I didn't get into the top-notch companies, because
Hmm.
though they advocate a lot of women returnees program, mostly in
Hmm.
IT, and from a non-IT perspective, it was very difficult for me to get into those uh, top-notch companies. But startups, yes. As I upgraded myself, I got into the one of the prominent startups. I worked under IIMs, IITs, and three generation entrepreneurs. They were as an entrepreneur, because
Hmm.
I run their business, but the business is not mine. So I
Correct.
took roles primarily in that way, so that I get the confidence when I want to start something on my own. Blindly, I should not throw a stone. I need to understand where people can go wrong, what kind of mistakes they can make, and how we are going to strategize and avoid those mistakes here. Maybe
Hmm.
in a lighter moment, learning at the cost of other mistakes. That is what I did. So
Hmm.
once it is done, then when I had the confidence that I can start my on my own in that, so I started just 2 years before I got the confidence. Now I have started again. If you ask me if I'm going to pivot it immediately, I am just testing the waters with all my service. So 1 or 2 years I would observe my business, how it goes, what works for
Hmm.
me, what doesn't work for me, and then start deciding on which area I should pivot, and how, what could be the transition or transformation my business can take.
Wonderful, wonderful. Maybe we'll circle back on the women returnee programs and all that, because that is
Yeah,
typically women will be looking at when they are moving on to coming back to workforce after various reasons. Maybe
sure.
we will deep dive onto those particular opportunities wise, because a lot of companies are projecting, but what is a reality which we may not know. Maybe since we were part of it, practically have seen it. Maybe you can suggest those things.
Sure.
But what insight what I have got is, instead of aiming at the bigger MNCs and all that, pivoting into smaller industries or
Absolutely.
the sector wise, segment wise itself, if you move forward, there are a lot of opportunities, is what been popping up. Maybe that we have to capitalize moving forward using our subject matter expertise.
Yes.
Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to Mr. Dhaval, like See, there are a lot of mid-level roles which are reducing. Maybe because of traditional way, it is also reducing. But because of AI and automation, a lot of coordination role, facilitation role, administration role, these are all getting reducing. Okay, so pivoting is it a smart choice to pivot into a role which is measurable, or bringing something to the table? That is what we need to think, because if the traditionally industry itself doesn't have a proper number of middle management roles, what is the point to
Mhm.
pivot? Okay, because statistics says India has seen a 34% of drop in mid-layer managerial positions. Okay, so
All right.
position itself is not there. So
Oh,
what is the point in moving career pivot? Your thoughts, please.
so before I answer that question straight away, I would like to get into a personal anecdote, and that will build up the entire argument that we have that the middle management roles are shrinking. So let me take you like a couple of decades back when I had just joined as an analyst, fresh out of a business school, working in the finance, and our organization's CFO was in India, and we were there in his town hall, and he mentioned that the biggest challenge that I have, he was a CFO of a big conglomerate, multinational, available in multiple countries, continents, I would say, one of the largest financial conglomerate. He said that if I go ahead and ask my department that tell me the book value of my share at a corporate level, it takes me 7 days to gather that data. Now
Hmm.
tell me how efficient is that? For a CFO to know the book value of a share, I mean, tell you, this is the most basic financial information anybody could think of. So over there itself lied a problem that since this conglomerates grew through the mergers and acquisitions, and they never had time to invest in modernizing those technologies, because many of the technologies would agree to this one is the philosophy that we have is that if something's working fine, do not bother trouble it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Correct? And at that time, in that decade, the things were very, very good. Banking volumes were high, trading volumes were high, people were having a lot of good profitabilities. Nobody bothered to look at the inefficiencies in the process. And
Correct.
that led to a lot of middle level management. So there will be a CFO. He would have his team for reporting only. He will have his team for something else. And in this kind of big organizations, there were like multiple general ledgers. So they had to consolidate all the different general ledgers. So for each general ledger, there will be a application manager, there will be a developer, there will be a tester, and all these people will have their managers.
Hmm.
And between 2005 to 2015, I had seen in the same organization, one of the person who came at a digital transformation level, and he said, this is utter nonsense. Why does one organization requires six different general ledgers? Why can't we have
Hmm.
SAP anywhere, everywhere? And then they implemented it.
Hmm.
Definitely the share prices went up. Definitely the cost and everything reduced. But at what expense?
Hmm.
People who were doing the consolidation part, people who were doing just the reporting part, all these things were taken up and all these things were eaten up. Now, I would like to quote one of the book over here that says compound effect, that all the changes or the drastic things that you see in the industry right now, it has not happened overnight. All these
Correct.
kind of inefficiencies have led to these kind of things. In my days when I joined, whenever somebody had a designation of a AVP or a VP, and if they don't have a team larger than 5 people, people used to say that he is on the hit list. He might be the next person letting off. People
Correct.
used to make a joke, vice president without a team, assistant vice president without a team. I have been that person in last 10 years, and I have never been on the hit list, thankfully. So the entire pivot from being in the middle management to be a people manager, where you are overseeing the daily operations of analysts or QAs or sales representatives, now the world is going towards more of an individual contributor's role. And what Padmaja had rightly mentioned, rather than showcasing your success as number of years you have, the age that you have, number of people that you manage, people are looking at the outcomes. And more
Hmm.
often than not, these outcomes are in these three sections. how much profit you can make, how much cost you can save, and save somebody from going to jail, comply by the regulations. These three are generally the outcomes. So, as a person who are looking to pivot at the middle management level, you need to be looking at that the kind of role that you are into, what are your outcomes? See, I agree that people are very, very passionate about their jobs. They say, I put in 12 hours, 15 hours, I have put in 15 years in this job. I always ask people measure how many
mm,
products have you shipped? How much revenue have you generated? How many
mm,
complexity have you reduced? Nobody
mm.
cares if you know newest technology. You might be having everything in your hands. It's like somebody having the most sophisticated car to drive, but you require an
Mm.
actual driver's sense if you want to win a race. That's
Correct.
exactly is happening with the middle management layer as well. You might be
Mm.
knowing the latest AI or the machine learning tool, but do you know how to implement it to solve a business problem? Don't write in your resume that I am expert at Selenium. Showcase how
Mm.
many number of test cases you automated and how many hours
Exactly.
did you save.
Exactly. Very well fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
Correct? And unfortunately, myself have been at this part of the problem. I myself had a resume wherein I had mentioned like I know this many technologies, I know this many tools and everything. And then somebody had asked me, okay, with all these, what did you do? What did you achieve? Put that on your resume. We don't want to know what your skill sets are.
Correct. Correct.
So, right, that is why if you see more and more outcome driven, more and more automation coming in, more and more the demand of the role is not to manage people, but to manage outcome. And that kind of roles are still there. I don't see any dearth of that kind of a role in the industry. But people do
Okay.
not consider, unfortunately, that as a management role. They consider as an individual contributor as not a role. So people need
Mm.
to open that perspective that even though the middle management is shrinking, the roles are not shrinking, just the definition of middle management is changing. Earlier, there used to
Mm.
be a very deep hierarchy, like senior VP, VP, ED, MD, and so on and so forth. These days, even in my organization where I work, two or three roles above me is directly a CEO of an organization.
Mm.
But that's how the hierarchies are coming flat.
Right.
Traditionally called those middle management roles are going away because the organizations are turning flats. People need to be open in their approach that you can be a senior without a team and you can
Mm.
still be contributing with the functional output. That is my take on that question of shrinking middle layer.
Okay, okay. Now, couple of questions are popping up. See, the moment we join an organization, we look up to what are the vertical promotions. Okay, so I've joined as an executive. Okay, next is team lead, next is assistant manager, manager. That is the kind of vertical promotions which we usually think of. So the moment you cross like 15 years, you are at a manager or a senior manager driving towards GM, VP kind of a roles. Like, is it something we are narrowing our path or not utilizing the horizontal possibilities of shifting or looking at IJP, internal promotions, internal job promotions, which completely a unique or a different domain terrain altogether to use your transferable skills. So, is it IJP is something which can be workable with your past experience, or people should stop thinking vertical promotions and then move horizontally? What is your opinion?
Here again, I would say that different levels requires a different set of a skill set. And
Okay.
in my experience, I had a very candid conversation with one of the director level person, and he said that if somebody comes and tells me tomorrow that be a CEO, maybe I don't have that skill set. I don't want to be that. I am
Hmm.
happy solving problems. You bring the
Hmm.
problems to me, I will solve it with my technological knowledge. But if you come and tell me that, go and talk to shareholders, it's not my cup
Hmm.
of tea. So,
Ah,
first and
okay.
foremost thing, people need to have that understanding. And
Hmm.
at times, the problem with people looking for that vertical promotion is they
Hmm.
consider the designation and the salary as their measure of success,
Correct. Correct.
right?
Yeah.
I am yet to know an organization. I have worked with five or six different banks, and any of the bank where they do not have a very effective internal mobility framework. Each and every organization provide these days. In fact, people encourage that because they already have that amount of trust in you. But
Hmm.
whenever it comes to changing of the job, most of the time people have this criteria when they come for counseling with me as well is if I am changing, I at least deserve 30% hike. If I shift within organization, they are not going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Now, that is where the problem starts. Like people even approach me for counseling because I work for an organization. Can you help me
Hmm.
get a job over there? So they don't want to come for the clarity of thoughts in terms of what kind of
Correct.
roles that they're suitable for them. They want to come for an organization because they have like 20 jobs open on the LinkedIn and they want to be
Correct.
referred over there. So
Hmm.
it's not just always the financial part. Like if you are struggling with your finances, maybe there could be a different discussion altogether. You need to be
Hmm.
making better planning at that level. But from the career
Hmm.
perspective, you picked up a very right thing that, you should always be open for horizontal kind of shift within your organization because you already have that level of trust gain.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I mean, it's always good to understand a larger impact you can have on your organization with your own
Hmm.
contribution. So yeah, I mean, I'm would advise very, very much for that one. I myself, whenever I have lasted in any organization for 6 or 7 years, I myself have taken two or three internal mobilities and gained a little more experience. And it has always been wonderful working for an organization in multiple roles. It definitely gives you a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the moment we feel like, okay, so my vertical positioning may not happen and all that, what are the next steps we have to take? The moment we say like we realize that this organization may not even provide a vertical opportunities, there are a couple of options. One is I resign my job and look for a better opportunity in other organization, or a horizontal move, or what are the other opportunities available. Maybe do I have to start entrepreneurship kind of a journey where I have to do the entire 10 different trades which belongs to business? What do you suggest?
Over here again, a bit of a philosophical one, and I would like to quote Dr. Carol Dweck over here, and she has written this wonderful book called Mindset. So that
Hmm.
depends on what mindset person are you. I mean, are you a person with the fixed mindset, like, okay, I'm only able to do this much? The example that I quoted earlier, that the person told me that I don't want to go and talking to the shareholders, I will continue to solve the problem. If you are that kind of a person, look for the opportunities within organization or any other organization and take your 30% hike every 5 or 6 years and you survive. But if you are someone that feels that, okay, I am not prepared for that role today. But if
Hmm.
I put in efforts, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, I will acquire that skill set and I should
Hmm.
be in that position. And again, during my analyst days, when earlier I was working with JP Morgan, our global product lead was in India. And she told me that if you want to be the person eligible for a promotion, go and bang on the door of your manager and tell them that I'm able to replace you. That much skill set
Hmm.
I have acquired. When you do that and you can make them feel that you have achieved that one, either they will ask you to find it somewhere else, or their manager will think that no, now this person is ready and we need to elevate them. So if you are
Hmm.
that growth mindset person who says that no, come what may, I want to know that what are the gaps in my skill sets, and for that you have to be ultra honest with yourself.
Hmm.
Today, if somebody comes and tells me, like, oh, go ahead and run the bank that you are working for, you will be the CEO, I would politely refuse. I'm not ready yet. I need
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
add
Hmm.
certain skill
It's a
sets
great.
in my
Yeah.
in my
Yeah. Hmm.
repertoire.
Hmm.
Once I do that, once I am ready, I need to start showcasing. People don't come and show you like, okay, this is your corner office, you are promoted. That only happens in
Hmm.
movies. You need to showcase that you are able to solve this problem. You took that initiative. You have to go out of your way and then showcase it to not just the one manager, multiple
Hmm.
managers in the organization who should be vouching for you. No, I trust in this individual. He is able to go there. So your networking, your ability to learn, your ability to showcase, then you should be in that position. So again, depending upon what is your mindset, do you want to remain with the skill set that you have and you want to move horizontal, or you want to challenge yourself and you want to go for the next level leap? you will have to take that path. So depending upon either of these, you have to make your strategy.
I think it's completely practical, and it is a huge realization has to happen during that point when we realize that these are all the things that are happening. And you brought up a major areas of concern is a mindset, where that is the element which we lack. The moment we realize skill or experience or salary, we don't even think about mindset. I think that's the area which we will have to jump into with the next speaker of this today. Is it mindset playing a main reason of pivoting the 40 plus kind of a role, or it is the age? What is your point of view? What is your previous experience, Mr. Kumar Mohan? You can just share your own opinion.
So when people talk about career pivot after 40, the first thing they blame is the age. The market
Hmm.
has changed, the roles are shrinking, you can't start over now. But I think after 2 decades in corporate world, let me say it clearly, age is not the barrier, the mindset is. The
Okay.
most pivots fail because the person is 40, but because they are stuck in that 25 years old of comfort zone.
Hmm.
After 40, we are not fighting the world, we are fighting our own fear.
Correct.
Fear of losing identity, fear of reduced salary, fear of being a beginner again, or
Hmm.
fear of being judged by learning something new. So
I
these
think you nailed
fears,
it. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
so these fears don't come from age; they come from a fixed mindset. And the day you
Yeah.
shift your fixed mindset, sorry, to a adaptability mindset, everything changes. Now, let's talk about my own journey. So I have worked 22 years across call center, strategic alliance, partnership, customer experience, sales, P&L leadership. I've led team, managed large function, handled role that looked absolutely stable from outside. But
Hmm.
inside, I knew something. Stability can become your biggest trap.
My God. Hmm.
So here come a point when I realized if I keep depending on the skills I learned 10 years ago, the market will outgrow me. So I
Exactly.
made a decision that if the world evolves, I'll also evolve
Hmm.
faster.
Hmm.
So started investing myself. Did my MBA during the lockdown time. I did my MBA in marketing. Okay. Then I did Six Sigma certification, yellow belt, green belt. I got certified. I did digital marketing from Google. Okay.
Hmm.
Plus, I did leadership course from IIM Ahmedabad, customer experience from IIT Raipur. I did
Hmm.
everything so that I get new things. Okay, I've been a leader for many years, but the course from IIM Ahmedabad helped me broaden my horizon. Started thinking from a different perspective, which ideally I was not thinking. Okay,
Hmm.
so what I realized is simple. Adaptability is a muscle. The more you stress, the stronger you
Hmm.
become.
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
started upscaling, people told me, why are you studying again?
Hmm.
Why do you do so many courses? Your experience is enough. But I think
Hmm.
the truth is, experience is valuable only if it evolves.
Correct. Fantastic.
And
Hmm.
what I think the mindset matters. So I have met people at 28 who are rigid, and there are a lot of people who at 45, 50 are unstoppable. I
Correct.
think the difference is not the age, it is a
Hmm.
mindset. And
Hmm.
one who
Hmm.
succeed in their 40s, 15, even 60s are the one who are who stays curious and stay humble, stay open to relearning, and
Hmm.
start willing to break their old patterns
Hmm.
and never let go ego stop them from becoming a beginner again. So
Hmm. Hmm.
adaptability isn't about being young, it's about being open. Being open, I think so. Okay.
Open. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
most pivot after 40 fail, but not because the person is old, because the person refuses to evolve. I think we need to change the mindset, update the skills, and suddenly the world would start seeing you differently. The opportunity opens, the
Hmm.
new role appears, your confidence returns. Because
Hmm.
adaptability is not just a skill, I think it's your second career.
Hmm.
And during your course of your time, you start feeling that no, you are not the right person, you're not the right fit. Okay, Gen Z around, how can you ensure you're getting into a power? The leadership, which was a decade ago, was different. Now the leadership was different. I remember 2 decades ago, I was an agent. Speaking to an assistant manager was a very big thing. Matlab, if the assistant
Hmm.
manager has called, that means I think I've done something wrong. Okay, but in today's world, okay,
Right.
so in today's world, every level, every individual, every leader needs to connect with the agents. I always
Correct.
tell, okay, I am not, I am there because of you. Yes. I am there because of my team.
Hmm.
It doesn't work
Hmm.
in vice versa. I think there was a period where the leader used to think that I am there, is that the reason the team is there? No. If the
Hmm.
team is there, we are there. As a leader,
Right.
I'm going a bit off track, but we need to adopt now with the Gen Z, the way they function, the thought process. They are more exposed to things rather we are. So we need to be aware about things. We need to start upgrading.
Hmm. Now, Kumar, one point here, like, what was the moment which you realized, oh, okay, I have to do start certifications? Is there any symptoms which you found, oh, these are the concerns, these are the reality, shocking reality which I am facing from the job market or a junior colleague? What are the typical symptoms which you have faced, or typically these are all bound to happen for the job seekers where they may not even realize? So maybe you can throw some light on, okay, the moment you got this 3 4 symptoms, you have to start doing something, either start realizing that these are the elements gaps I have, or start doing certificate. What was the typical moment?
So first, okay, initially I wanted to do my MBA. Okay, unfortunately during my uh, working years I was not able to. So during the lockdown time, it was an appropriate time where I started doing MBA. Okay, so when I started doing MBA in marketing, then I realized the marketing things which I'm learning, it is a bit outdated. Okay, due respect, so I gained knowledge and everything, but then I realized that digital marketing is the next thing you need to
Hmm.
start doing, because if you're not aware about the SOE and everything, you're outdated. You're not aware how the world is
Correct.
going to function. In today's world, the lead comes to digital marketing only from a sales perspective.
Correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then I realized I have done Six Sigma projects and everything. I was part of the team of doing the project, but unfortunately there was no certificate or any validation. Okay. So then I started doing yellow belt. Yellow belt I had done a decade ago before that. Okay. Then I started learning and relearning, and then I realized, so there are a few things in our daily operation we try to miss. Okay. Then what excited me, I did a green belt Six Sigma. Okay. Then after the leadership skills coming into picture, okay, then I realized I need to upgrade my skills as a leader as well. Okay.
That's my point, Mr. Kumar. Where on what which point made you fear, made you start something? What are the major signals you got? Like, this is a reality shock I'm getting. Certification is the second part, which you have taken a decision and then move forward. But what are the symptoms which you start at the moment? Okay, this is my signal where I have to go. Is that some signals, some symptoms you found?
Correct. So there are two things. One is on a personal level and one is on a professional level. I used to always think I'm a good people management, but I was not able to, with my people manager, I was not able to manage my son. Okay.
People
Then I
management was
realized,
good. Okay.
yes, okay, because they are Gen Z and the employees who are coming in newly, uh, uh, as a unit, we were not able to manage, okay, counsel them, okay. Then I realized I need to do something else because the attrition rate was going high. Some people, some
Hmm.
employees were not motivated enough. So I think so. The old pattern, the old leadership is not working. I need to upgrade myself, lead by example, telling my team, telling my managers, this is the way you need to handle, and then
Hmm.
things need to flow.
Okay, okay, okay.
I
So
hope so
that
I
point
answered
you
your
realize
question.
that some of the upskilling has to happen, otherwise I'll become obsolete. Then you start the journey. Okay.
Plus, obviously, age coming in, obviously, we need to start upgrade yourself. That is also a main point which we're discussing. But apart from that,
Hmm.
these were the trigger point. I enjoyed.
Hmm.
I'm upgrading myself.
Okay, okay, okay. So for the audience, what is your checklist? Okay, if you found this kind of a signal, this is where you have to start. Is there any pointers?
So you're asking the audience, you're asking me.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, I'm asking you for the audience to understand what are the signals they have to judge.
first you need to do yourself a SWOT analysis. That is
What?
very much important. You need to understand what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Okay, what do you need to do first? You need to understand that. Okay, and I always
Mm.
believe you need to have a mentor in your life that always gives a third party perspective. Okay,
Correct.
it can be
Mm.
anyone. It can be because in today's world we always think we are right. Okay,
Yeah.
like that's a fact of like even a Lord Arjuna required a Lord Krishna, okay, to guide
Mm.
him. I think in our world we need someone, okay,
Correct.
who can give us some of a third party perspective. Okay,
Mm.
I'll just give an example before we joining. I appreciate GS Kumar. When we were discussing, he gave me a feedback, Kumar, you need to be a bit slow. And I really appreciate this. Okay, I didn't
Mm.
put my ego. So that's a feedback. I think I might be too fast while speaking, so the audience would not able to grasp. So that helped me and then I enjoyed, I've implemented.
Mm.
Any
Mm.
ways people help you, it can be a small kid, okay,
Mm.
which can teach you. I'll give very prime example. It's on a spiritual note. I'm sorry, don't get me wrong. Okay, so I used to daily recite Hanuman. Used to recite Hanuman Chalisa. I used to play it on my Alexa. Okay, and I used to tell my son, "You sit down because you don't know the words. You sit down and read it." He used to daily read it, and I used to recite. One
Mm.
question he asked me, "Daddy, why aren't you sitting and reading it? You're
Mm.
telling me." And to be honest, that gave a perspective. And to be honest, thanks to him,
Huh.
I started doing it. I started sitting and reading Hanuman Chalisa. And in Hanuman
Right.
Chalisa it says, "Jo ye pade Hanuman Chalisa." So I think few things you need to learn. So for me, my son is a mentor in that case. He made
Wow.
me realize which I never did it. I used to play Alexa, do my work, and start to recite. So thanks to
Mm.
him, that changed
Yeah.
me.
Now, one thing in the learning is we should not have ego in learning. You should adopt everybody, mentee or mentor, even a 2-year-old kid, where we don't know how to operate certain mobile apps, we have to go and learn with them only. So I think that's a perspective mindset we should have on continuous learning. Like what you did is a continuous learning, we're non-stop. The moment you realize people management is something, some gap is that you kick-started a lot of things and then you've been learning continuously. I think that's where we miss out. Like the 90s kids typically who cross like 40 years, they think that okay, once I did master's degree, then that's all. It's until 58, 68, 60 years I'll be working. That's not the story right now. Like we'll have to do continuous upskilling, upgrading to whatever new adoption is happening for the business that we'll have to adopt. Fine, perfect. Now I'll move on to the different areas on this particular factor. One is, see, the business is hiring for our skills. Okay, so they cannot be emotional, they cannot be humanitarian, all that we cannot expect from a business. They are hiring skills which they cannot implement by themselves. Okay, so having been said that, they want somebody to implement. Let's say I want some automation in my business, N10 automation or AI automation. I want somebody who's skilled enough to execute rather than looking at the experience. Are you 50 plus experience, then you are good at that. I may not be thinking in that way when I'm running a business. Correct. Now, is it like skills is becoming very, very outdated, or the people who cross 40 plus professionals are doing a very slow upgradation on the skill sets? What is your points? Anybody can talk. Maybe one by one you can share your opinions. Maybe circle back to Padmaja again. Skills part, what is your opinion?
Skills part is again, you need to evaluate yourself, understand what is your strength, what is required for you to elevate and evolve in a surrounding. That is important. So for me, I took a sabbatical during my pregnancy. So I was a BSc Applied Science honors. So I was dealing with quality management. Internally, I did a lot of certifications for leadership within the organization. Once I come
Hmm.
out of the organization, somehow people feel that it is a kind of corporate training the organization would have done as a
Hmm.
practice, and you will not have the application point of view. So this is the
Hmm.
common myth around it.
Hmm.
So that made me realize I need to really have a post graduation while I'm in sabbatical or a child care. This I need to evaluate myself. So it is like the josh and the interest level and never give up attitude that also matters when you go, above 40 or 30s, even in the 30s, if you start learning yourself, your career graph above 40 would be a kind of positive slope. So I did my MBA. Parallelly, I started exploring what are the other revenue streams I can generate for myself, and what are the
Hmm.
other practical skills that I have to acquire. So digital marketing is one. I'm a good writer, but I without any formatted writing. So I need to know whether I'm a good research writer or a good story writer, or am I going to write marketing for sales and marketing. So everything requires a unique skill, unique niche. So once
Correct.
you identify, explore, and test the waters. So I tested in everything, like
Hmm.
storytelling. I joined some workshops, and for even marketing, writing, digital marketing, content marketing, everything I joined. So HubSpot, there are a lot of MOOC resources are there. If you don't want to invest, also there are massive open online courses. You need to choose the
Right.
right course, but it is a self-paced, so you should have the discipline to read and move forward, complete
Ah,
it.
that is your proactive way of your own
Yeah.
passion. But what do you say? Like similar experience, 40 plus people, are they too slow in adopt? What is your, maybe you have seen
That
your
is,
colleagues and friends. So what is
see,
their
the question is, why should I adopt? I have so much of
ah,
experience. That is the
oh,
mindset they have, right?
okay,
See,
okay.
just Mr. A is 40, he is a senior manager. A guy from IIM joins, he's a junior manager. Okay. Now that IIM guy is going to, do certifications because he's taught to do certifications. He's taught to, evolve as a learner always, because you
Hmm.
have a set of, standardized rules where you come out of IIM. You have to do a
Hmm.
lot of things on your own. That is there.
Hmm.
So this senior manager, Mr. A, if he is not upgrading himself in next 6 months, the other person who is youngest one in the crowd or youngest kid in the block, that's what they quote. So that guy will elevate himself.
Hmm.
But to create a tab on that guy, and whether he is doing it right or wrong, the senior manager needs to know what it is. In my
Hmm.
example, in 40, I started my company. I was conducting a leadership workshop. So what I will do, I posted on WhatsApp media channels, status, LinkedIn. So it's a premier, poster that I have created. I had two interns from a reputed engineering college. They didn't complete their engineering degree, but they wanted to know how a startup works. One of them came and said, "Ma'am, you're very outdated because you're just posting. People will not see posters." Within 2 minutes, those two girls, they created a kind of skit. Like one is
Ah,
a leader, one is a junior manager or something, and they just prepared a 2 minute storytelling that they need to excel themselves for to beat the career curve or just get it. 2 minutes, they just did the reels. I posted it in my media. I got 25 enrollments without that.
my
So
God.
see,
Wonderful.
if I in 40s I say I know everything and I have not allowed them, I would have lost that enrollments.
True,
So
true,
you need
100%.
next time what I did, I learned that lesson. The next is everything storytelling only, everything on reels or where people are consuming that content. So you
Hmm.
learn from them. That learning aptitude is must. I know it all will never, work in this scenario. And
Hmm.
major problem with skill is people don't know where to go. After 40, there is a
Correct.
line of confusion wherein
Hmm.
what skills I should acquire. You
Yes.
can't be jack of all trades.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Hmm.
this jack of all trades are having. So I see women, especially women entrepreneurs or women leaders, after 40, if they have to, get it, they go in the, same career path. Like if they are into I don't know the IT skills, but mainframe or COBOL,
Hmm.
they should go above and learn the other skills. Now,
Hmm. Hmm.
limited companies have this mainframe COBOL technologies, and when I
Hmm. Hmm.
studied, Java was the primary thing, and when I finished, Java was nothing. Other
Hmm.
skill technologies came in. So staying updated also matters a lot in skill building. As
Right.
they said, doing a SWOT analysis, staying updated, what roles I need to go forward, and
Hmm.
what skill sets that it's required for me to go forward with an
Right.
open mind, growth mindset, and submittable. It is a ubuntu kind of thing. If you're a leader also, now you're into a kind of leadership team and you're a member in the leadership team, so
Hmm.
that
Hmm. Hmm.
mindset should be there.
Yeah. So, Dhaval, this typical skill set shelf life is become less than 2.5 years. So, if that is the case, like whatever we are suing today, 2025, the skill set may not be available on 2028. Like whichever skill I have developed over a period of years or till 2025 may not be very, very needy by a business or by a customer or something like that. So, what is the attitude which we have to bring towards learning and upskilling as per your experience, because you've worked in multiple companies, developed a lot of skills and all that. So shelf life of a skill is something we don't even think. The moment we acquire skill, oh okay, this is permanent, that's what we usually think. So shelf life wise, what is your opinion towards the continuous learning process?
Well, I would say in a little lighter tone that consider your skills as a fashion trend. Like fashion trends keeps changing. You don't mind buying new t-shirts or new pair of jeans as per the fashion. Why not with your skill sets? And the
Hmm.
problem lies in the way our schooling, like, people who are in their 40s or 50s, the way their schooling used to happen. I have heard this from my teachers like million times that you
Hmm.
first 18 years of your life just dedicate towards education, then you can do whatever you want. And
The biggest
I
lie
mean,
in our life.
yeah, you can watch movies, you can play cricket, you can roam around everyone, but for 18 years, you just study. That
Hmm.
thing
Hmm.
needs to change. So when I do the student counseling as well, I help students of high school to figure out what kind of career they need to be choosing. I tell them
Hmm.
very upfront that be prepared to learn for life, because
Hmm.
in older years, in the earlier century, that was more of a physical oriented jobs that were there in the market, wherein you need to only acquire how to run a machine or how to engineer a particular solution. Now it is more of a
Hmm.
knowledge work, and there is no dearth of a knowledge. And it is
Correct.
written on the wall that these things are going to change. Either
Hmm.
you abide by it or you just remain in denial. But ultimately, the survival of fittest always takes care of itself. So if you
Hmm.
think that I don't want to learn throughout my life, world is not going to stop. World is going to demand it. So consider it as like adaptation you require to survive in this industry. Yes, it's the harsh truth. You can go back and maybe if one of your teachers are alive, you can go back and tell them that you fooled out of me, that I just need to study for 18 years. You need to study for 80 years, because not only on your work front, even to have a amicable after life, after retirement life with your family, you need to learn how to adapt into a retired life. So it's
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
going to stop only in your professional life. Even on your personal
Hmm.
life, you have to be a learner for life. Then you will have a
True.
very, very good life throughout your professional, personal, everything. So yes, skill
Hmm.
sets are going to shrink. New things are going to evolve. You either adopt to it or
Hmm.
you become a power where you can change the entire system. The best.
Hmm.
You can be whatever you are.
Fantastic. So, Kumar, so the moment you acquired all these certifications, master degree, what was the major changes you got in your own culture, office, or whatever? Like, the moment you realize, okay, people management is a signal which you have started upskilling yourself. After adaptation, after upskilling, what are the typical changes just because you have upgraded your skills?
So so the organization which I worked, okay, they were not digital marketing savvy, okay.
Okay.
So when I met the board of directors or when I used to meet the CEO, I used to put it across in this way, which helped, and it also enhanced my confidence that I have
Mm.
my inputs where I can speak. Okay,
Correct.
that helped. Okay, because the company I worked, they were not so tech savvy where they want to
Mm.
do a digital marketing was the product which they had.
Mm.
Second, on the green belt, okay, sometimes your attention does not work, your sale number does not work, the CSAT goes for a toss. So you go
Mm.
back, you think from a Six Sigma perspective that what are things which are going wrong, okay, which is under my control, which is not controllable. Kindly work on a controllable parameter. I'll just give an
Mm.
example, okay, one other company which I worked. So every executive, we called a relationship manager, had their own mobile. Okay.
Mm.
Now, what used to happen? The customer used to call WhatsApp. Okay. Now,
Mm.
example, when the customer calls, when you are a customer, you call a call center or you call a relationship manager. you expect them to be available irrespective.
Mm.
That's the customer, to be honest.
Correct.
Or if they are not, you send a hi and you expect them to respond. Unfortunately, if we don't respond irrespective, we have given good service in the of the product, the customer feel like this relationship manager does not respond
Mm.
on time. That's a
Mm.
simple perspective. So when I learned Six Sigma, simple change which I did, which was under my control. First, I told my team to download WhatsApp Business, in which whenever the
Mm.
customer sends a hi, a automated message goes. Okay, in
Wonderful.
which it mentions the time.
Mm.
Second, in that the name of his, her, or in that the supervisor name and email ID was also mentioned with the phone number. So by any
Mm.
chance, if the customer is not able to get in touch with the relationship manager, he gets in
Mm.
touch with the supervisor. Okay.
Okay.
Third, is using a technology, using WhatsApp tells us if I'm on leave. So, example, if I'm on leave as a relationship, you calling me, I might not respond, okay? But I might see in the status update is okay, she's on leave, okay. Any emergency,
Mm.
please call. Use the broadcast
Wonderful.
message which you send the customer that I'm on leave for the next 2 to 3 days. I'm not able to be contactable. This is my supervisor's email ID. So this gives a comfort to the customer, and
Mm.
automatically the NPS scores goes high.
Mm.
Additionally, the customer is able to renew the service and we are able to retain the customer. Because as we
Wonderful.
say, acquiring the customer would be quite easy, but retaining a customer is very difficult in today's world. So
200%.
these small changes made the difference. And when I did this Six Sigma green belt and yellow belt, it helped me to change my perspective.
Hmm. No, I think two different dimensions you spoke. One is from the business perspective, what new adoption based on the field reality. That's number one, where you have adopted a lot of sea changes by implementing digital marketing perspectives, which they were not able to adopt or scale up. Number one. Number two, the customer experience, which you were very close to the reality of how a customer is feeling, behaving, perspective, customer experience, and then you fix certain things which made a sea change. And as you rightly pointed out, see, right now the employer branding becomes a major element in terms of selecting a product or service. So the moment customer experience is dropping, we have a huge hit on our Glassdoors, LinkedIn, multiple areas which have a greater influence. This cannot be seen very fastly, but over a period of time, it accumulates. Okay, so I think that's where you fixed a lot of elements, which I think it might be invisible for your organization, but still, like I think a lot of a sea change you have brought without skill and after skill improvement. I think that's a huge scale up which you have done for both ends, customer and then business. Fine. So now the perspective is towards the job seekers online assets. That means your resume, LinkedIn, Naukri profile, all that. So is that candidates are losing opportunities because they don't know how to articulate, they don't know how to brand themselves. uh, like they say like 76% of resumes for 15 plus years of experience still using outdated formats, like starting from 10th 12th BE, that tabular column, and then explaining from first company to last company. That's a typical resumes which we see with our own clients. Like we work with a lot of GMs, VPs, and CXOs. The moment they share the resume, we've been very shocked. Like it's been created 10 years back, and still they are using that to apply for jobs. And the practice towards networking on LinkedIn is missing, because as in the last discussion also we said, the moment they lose job, only then they'll come to LinkedIn and then say, okay, I lost a job and then I want some help. Otherwise, there is no practice of networking on LinkedIn or even posting some content on LinkedIn. So, what are the branding mistakes typically the job seekers who are at 40 plus they are doing most often? Maybe anybody can answer if you have the real time experience. Yeah.
See, major branding mistakes is as they have the traditional resume format that you have already quoted. But in the
Mm.
traditional resume format also, there is no clarity provided as how what they have done. What is
Mm.
their role? That is the thing. There's a mismatch because if I have to recruit a CEO for my company, I would not be, looking out for what are the companies he has worked for. what he
Mm.
is going to contribute in my company. So we
Makes sense.
have a team for writing C-suite resumes. So when I see there is a deliberate shift and they don't update their resume, like, they would have stayed in the company for 10 years, they would have won a lot of accolades, awards, or they would have done certifications, because none of the companies keep you redundant for 10 years. But they
Mm.
don't keep a note of it. They don't take testimonials from their client. They
Correct.
don't uh, they don't really acknowledge themselves as they are growing. First, they have to
Mm.
believe in themselves. They have to acknowledge that we are growing and I'm in the growth path. And
Mm.
second thing is, though you're good at work, there are certain aspects when you come to senior roles you need to know the cross functions. That is very important, because when you become a kind of senior VP, sales, for example, it is not only sales. It comes
Correct.
client management, it comes escalation metrics, it is related to customer service, it is related
Yes.
to your product. You have to know what is happening in the company. That is a major gap. I feel after 40 people are discounting themselves, and when they
Mm.
move out of the company, they are not doing proper research of what exactly they have to go next to the company.
Agree. Correct. Correct. Mm.
Whatever comes on their way, okay, I'll take it up. If it is 30% hike, but will this work out for them? Because
Mm.
now the current trend is hire fast, fire fast. It doesn't have a kind of, motive kind of thing. But
Mm.
unfortunately, it's a scenario. Once they
Ah.
say you do one project really well, you get all the clients' satisfaction, necessarily doesn't mean that you do all the projects, in
Mm.
the
Mm.
so each and project comes up with the challenges. Now, what happens is after 40, when you see speed success as one
Mm.
project, the learning stops there. You adopt the
Right.
same methodology for forthcoming projects, which is a very bad practice, because I have seen many entrepreneurs, they pivot. It works for them really well for 1 year. Same
Mm.
strategy with other client, it just stops. The ground level
Exactly.
reality, the company itself gets closed because of the costly mistakes they do.
My
and
God.
and finally learning from their mistakes. So first,
Mm.
you should know you're making a mistake and learn from
Mm.
it. So that quality also, after 40 you need to inculcate in yourself, because you,
Mm.
in a stint of 20 years, you would not have done everything right.
Mm. Mm.
So there is
Yeah.
a book, Lean Startup, where they say that you have to document your mistakes.
Wow. Mm.
Two different mistakes, not the same
Mm.
one.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
clarity. And after 40, you need to read, you need to consume a lot of content that is relevant for you. That's
Wow.
where the difference makes. So if in my personal experience, after 40 I started reading books. If in 20s books never excited me, but
Mm.
after 40 I choose books that can be knowledgeable. I can share some knowledge. As a
Mm.
trainer, I have to give a lot of different scenarios to people, and
Mm.
recorded sessions I cannot see repeat the same scenario to different this. So yeah, I'm going to an engineering college for a growth mindset and entrepreneurship training. So I'm teaching session A, okay? Session B is afternoon. If I have to repeat the same thing, one boy will raise his hand, ma'am, we know that we got update from that class.
Mm. Mm.
You need to plan your backup. You need to have the knowledge. Cannot have a templatized, version
Mm.
when you're at 40. You need to explore your diverse channels and also seek
Mm.
knowledge. Be a
So
seeker
that
and
has to get articulated in the resume and LinkedIn, not just being internally. So expressing outside on the digital platforms is also mandatory.
yeah, you need to cut the labels. You cannot,
Mm.
so your experience says you're an evangelist, but I am not, the fancy LinkedIn terms, you need to cut it, but put
Mm.
it in a trust mode wherein you tell them, share knowledge, share your experiences, share your mistakes. That is there. So when I started in 2010, I started with 25 followers. So I was not
Mm.
that active. But from 20 to 25, it is a steep growth of 200, 2,000 to 3,000 followers increase in LinkedIn, because I share every day some
Mm.
relevant value-based content. After it, LinkedIn
Right.
also it's become kind of, anniversary wishes, all the
Yeah.
stuff. But what content you, share, which is creating value, or,
Mm.
you're doing an indirect mentoring for people. sharing the
mm,
experience and expertise, that also matters. So after 40,
mm,
stay active in social media for good and
mm,
consume what is required and share the knowledge. That is a
mm,
primary thing everybody should do. So
mm,
that's the reason. See, we are all here because of that only, right? On a
yeah.
Sunday, because we consume content, we are a part of a community where one
Mm,
person is leading the show and asking for who can come and ask for the panelists and who can become. You just evaluate, okay, whether can I talk on this topic? Then you
mm,
apply and you come here. That is the thing.
mm,
So all of us are consuming good content. That is the reason we are here, and there is a primary intent that we need to share something we know for the people
okay.
out here. So that
Mm,
is the primary skill people above 40 should have. I mean, learning
mm,
attitude, lifelong learner, not in paper but in action.
yeah. So, Kumar, I'll just move on to you. Like, is the visibility something we are missing when we are doing a job, 9 to 5 job? We may go to a job, perform our actions, come back, maybe identify the skills we doing upgrading on Saturday, Sunday. But the visibility part, like apart from my office colleagues, nobody knows what I'm doing. Okay, so
Right.
is it visibility is something typically Indian job seekers do they have the shyness to express okay, I'm an expert in something? What is your thoughts?
So I think I go back to the initial point is first is do you have a mentor? It is important.
Mm,
Okay. So I have few set of friends who are honest enough. We met during our carpool days. Okay, where we used to do carpool, but now we have become a thick of friends. Everybody belongs to a different industry, and once in a month when we meet, okay, we discuss on various topic. They talk about their industry. They change they when we discuss, everybody has a different perspective and it helped. And the good point is when we sit and discuss over a drink, nobody's going to judge. Okay, so that is
correct.
point number one. Okay, and second, what set of people is around you is very important. Okay, so the
Mm,
company in which you work, the set of employees, or the set of friends you have, who they are they the opponent, are they a competitor, are they your
mm,
friends, is very much important. It always thinks it always makes a difference in your thought process. I
correct.
always say that as a kid as well, at when you move to an age of eighth standard, it is a set of friends defines your future. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Next is when you move to a age of 22. Okay, the set of friends defines which company
Mm,
you work, what is your thought process, and obviously when you come to an age of 40, what surrounding of people are there defines your next 10, 15 years.
true, true, 100%. Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So
So
plus
that's
on the
what I'm
branding,
saying. Like, visibility is something which we consciously avoid to showcase in the organization that okay, I'm an expert in something. I have done this. Or posting in LinkedIn, a lot of people have feeling very shy. Or if I post, my manager will look and say, "Oh, okay, he's looking for a job." So is it that the kind of mentality which people have?
it depends upon what type of a leader you have. Okay, if the
Mm,
leader thinks in that way it's a threat or he's gonna quit, he might. But some leaders are very open up and they encourage and they appreciate the way you
mm,
do it. Okay, it
mm.
depends upon the type of leader you have. Okay, that is what
Right,
I
right.
think. And I think Padmaja missed one point which he mentioned in the earlier this thing. What I liked about the point is in your resume, you should mention that what have you achieved, what a year
Mm,
on year growth you have talked about. You have an experience in managing team. I think everybody is aware. Did you scale up from which XX to 2X or 3X? I think in the resume, we need to start mentioning. Okay.
mm,
And as Padmaja's, I think that's a takeaway for me after this writing the wrong thing which you have done. Okay.
mm.
Okay. But on a lighter note, obviously, I have a wife to tell me what are the wrong things I do. Okay. That's on a lighter note, Padmaja. Okay, that's on a lighter note. Okay, still that's a good point. Plus, we need to also do another thing. What all good things we do? We need to start making a note. Okay. Recently, I think for last 1 month, prior to that, I used to create comedy reels with my son and everything. But now I've started creating reels on finance, what is happening on the market, silver, copper price. There are a lot of things which helped me. Initially, the transaction was not there. Okay, I used to feel shy. What is that person used to think? But now I think world is an open thing. Okay, if you think you want to grow, and that would only increases my confidence. Okay, I'm pretty sure now I'm at 1500, 2000 followers. I'm pretty sure the way I'm functioning in the coming days, I might reach to a 10K or a 1 million.
Hmm.
I hope so I
No, that's what
answered your question.
comparing to Esther years. Like right now, there are huge opportunities. Maybe starting from the era of Quora. Like if you are a subject matter expert, you can post your answers, even Reddit for that matter, and showcase that you know what, I'm expert in this. I can give a consultation or can give an advice. That way, you can build a personal brand. And when talking about personal brand, LinkedIn is always on the top-notch quality where. Any PR activity done by celebrities can be equivalent to LinkedIn kind of a quality which normal people can give. Okay, so the moment we start searching for a name, LinkedIn is the first thing which comes in the top. So obviously we'll have to realize that and utilize that free platform to our own personal branding rather than keeping it like a Naukri profile where we use only when we apply for a jobs. I think that's a huge gap which a lot of people have lack of awareness on how to utilize LinkedIn first of all. So in the last conversation also we said it is being utilized like Naukri, which is not. It should be used for our own branding, our own visibility, our own networking, our own scalability so that it acts as a PR for us. So that, as Padmaja rightly said, we have picked people who are active on talking on the same subjects. So we have assembled on the same topic and synergizing all this kind of a similar mindset of a kind of a combination of content. So that's how things has to move on and network with a lot of people rather than sticking to the same people and talking the same gossips about the manager will never make any sense, right? So Dhaval, what is your thoughts about creating personal brands for a job seeker, especially like now you have moved on to a entrepreneur journey, but think about a situation where you were like 10 years, 15 years. What was your thought process in building your own personal brand, or what are all revital information which you have thought to put it in resume and LinkedIn? What was your suggestions?
Well, in the branding space, since both Padmaja and Kumar have made some wonderful suggestions in terms of do's that you should be doing for your branding on LinkedIn and resume, I will be talking about couple of don'ts and something that has happened with us when I was hiring for a position and we were looking for somebody who was the expert in product accounting and we were looking for a specific set of investment banking products and their accounting part. And then we received a resume which was like 12 pages long, front and back both. If you consider, it was almost like 24 pages. And you can think of an IB product, and that was mentioned over there.
Hmm.
So it for a bit, for myself and my manager, I told like, do you want me to interview this guy or is guy is coming to interview me? I
Okay.
mean, he has mentioned so many products that even
Hmm.
I am not aware after spending 10 years in this organization doing accounting for certain products. And when
Hmm.
we started talking to him, I just gave him a very simple example like, okay, this is the, off balance sheet derivative, and I just did a trade in this one. How will you account for this? The answer that I get is that I have recently started learning about this.
Oh my God. Hmm.
Now, please, this is a humble request for everyone who is listening to this. You may be able to hack the system to get an interview call, but if at a
Hmm.
first question, we are looking for your fungible skills, which we can
Hmm.
apply in the organization and get you to, as we call it, as hit the ground running. You come
Hmm.
and tell me that you still are like a student and you are learning this and you are coming over here and I need to invest in you. I mean, this is not something I would like
Yes.
you to be doing this. So don't do that. Don't make your resume, as I used to call it, as like a multi-branded retail shop. Like you want
Yeah.
footwear, you come to me. You want clothing, you come to me. You want cosmetics, you come to me. Don't be like that. I have seen people putting that CSPO, PMP, CBAP, all the different certifications, everything under the sky that you have. But when you talk about the usability part of it, when you come to the fungibility part of it, there is nothing over there. So the
Yes.
mistake that people put is that they feel that, like, if I put that fancy brand, these days, each and every individual, like, earlier it used to be, I mean, I still consider that IIMs and IITs to be the brands, but apart from their mainstream in-house courses, they offer many certification. Anybody can walk in, pay certain lakhs, and then you can receive that certification. People are not looking at certification. People are looking at how you are applying it. Do not mention all these different items, mention your outcomes. So, as a branding, the biggest mistakes that I have seen people making is this way. Like, they are like, You ask me to do anything, I will do everything for you." We are not looking for
Hmm.
those kind of people.
Hmm.
World is going more deeper on the depth worker kind of a people. People are looking at specialists
Correct.
in solving a problem. So mention what problem was there. Have you solved it? What was your contribution? Many times in interviews, I have seen this mistake. The moment I tell somebody, like, explain me your role, they started saying, "We do this, we do that." I'm like, hang on. I'm not asking for what your team does. What is your
Ah.
contribution?
Hmm.
Same thing applies on your resumes, on your LinkedIn pages. Be
Hmm.
authentic, because, I mean, you may be able to hack the system and get an interview call, but in the very
Hmm.
first few minutes, it will be very, very clear that
Yes.
you are just trying to, like, hack through it, and you are just trying to get into it. So that mistake, please avoid.
True, true, true. Makes sense, makes sense. So we have almost come to the concluding area. So maybe you can give your final thought process, final takeaway to the current audience and the future audience as well. Of course, they'll be watching at a later point in time, whoever is not joining. So for them, what is your key takeaways, key checklist, key advice from your own mistakes, whatever you have done? Maybe ask them to avoid that, and then provide some valuable information. Maybe you can create a checklist and then give pointers one by one, maybe starting again from Padmaja.
This was a very insightful discussion that we had on all genres of pivoting after 40. And regarding the technology, also we had an immense discussion on this. But one feel from the audience point of view, there was someone asking about the AI interviews. They filter first. So after 40, this is also a challenge because they are used to getting into the traditional mode of interviews, face to face and stuff. So when AI is interviewing, AI is looking for certain clarity on what you do. As I
Correct.
said, your resume also, when you say I manage a team of 25, AI is not interested because the prompt would be what is the contribution that you would have gotten into
Exactly.
the team. So it is a
Mm.
prompt based, selection. So the
Mm.
awareness aspect. Now, if an external person who is not a human is interviewing, I cannot play an emotional trump card there. I have to have the statistics. I have to say, okay, 25% the company revenue growth has increased, or we had around 250 clients, wherein I managed around 75% of them, and my team has run this. And this is what I did for the team. This is what my team does. This is my strength, and this is my learning curve. That is the
Numbers always
kind of
speak.
thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
you have to just be crisp. You need to just present the facts in front of AI. If you can come in an empath mode and say that, I have managed, I have just, the company was in current loss, I saved the company. It is literature. AI doesn't
Hmm.
recognize that. So that
True.
is one aspect that, we at 40, we need to adapt to that technology. And
Hmm.
even when AI is interviewing, as you said, the speech matters a lot. So you need to take a pause for it to understand, assimilate, and just circle back. Okay, this guy has this prompt. So it is just a rating, prompt rating, a checklist given to AI. So initial discussion, when you have to get an interview to the company, you need to understand these aspects. And after that, the learning curve, as everybody said, because one example I would like to quote, I and my team did a leadership coaching in a mid cap company for the team leaders transitioning as managers. So
Hmm.
we covered the strategies, we had outbound games, and the recording was sent to the CEO of the company. Now the
Hmm.
CEO calls me the next day and said, Padmaja, the team leaders would be more knowledgeable now than my managers now. because
Hmm.
the strategies are, I mean, I had a discussion with my managers. They said they have no, they have done it, they have read about it, but they don't know how to apply it. So the
Hmm.
team leaders who are coming will be better than my managers, which I don't want. So conduct a next level of, leadership skills like delegation,
Right.
promptness, and adaptability, accommodative. These things, like, next level of managers prepare a outline and give it to me. And finally, when I sent it to the CEO, he just called me for a meeting, and first thing he said, "Do you do leadership coaching one to one?" Because if my
Hmm.
managers are knowledgeable than me, he is 65. So
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
said, Padmaja, to manage them, I need to learn further. So
Hmm.
I mean, see, there is again a kind of shyness coming in. He will not come to the workshop and attend,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
True. True.
So he feels that, I don't want my managers to know I don't know this. But
Hmm.
can you do a leadership one-to-one coaching, or you have somebody more,
Hmm.
you think that he can do it or he or she can do it, it would be perfectly fine. See the learning curve. 65, he can say he can deploy people, and he can say, okay, you learn and you implement. But he
Hmm.
evaluated himself and he said, okay, I want to learn because I have to manage these people without knowing. That is where the 40 plus, because people who you manage are more knowledgeable than you, then you're in crisis. You don't know
Yeah. What
whether,
is your key
yeah.
takeaways? Key takeaways for the audience.
Skill takeaways, you have to learn, you have to enrich, I mean,
Hmm.
identify what is that you want to learn, which stream you have to
Hmm.
go. That is the first step. And learn and apply and share the
Hmm.
knowledge. See how people know me as leadership coach. I post leadership, inputs or nuggets in LinkedIn, or I come to, panel discussions like this. I share my experience. No, I'm not
Hmm.
putting myself as a leadership coach on track leadership certification. I've done
Hmm.
13 years before. Nobody will believe me.
Visibility creation, of course.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's a branding that you have to create. It's a visibility, and you have to create
Hmm.
it on the right channels and to the
Correct.
right target audience. You have to identify your target audience first to create it.
Hmm.
So I cannot go and to tell in the college I am going to do a CCO leadership skills. Where you
Hmm.
do, where you apply your training, where you apply your
Hmm.
skills also matters. So pivoting up to 40 is easy when you're in a growth mindset, when you're a lifelong learner, and you
Hmm.
have the patience to keep things forward and wait for a result. That is also
Hmm.
there. So
Fantastic.
adaptability, accommodative. That's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving on to Kumar, your final thoughts, key takeaways for the audience.
The final is your 40 are not the end of your 40s are not the end of your career.
Hmm.
They are upgrade. The only thing that decides your next chapter is not the age, not the market
Hmm.
condition, not the competition, it's your adaptability. The
Right.
people who win after 40 are not the youngest, the fastest, or the most talented. They are the one who stay curious, stay flexible, and keep learning even when it is uncomfortable. So your
Hmm.
experience is your strength, your mindset is your engine, your willingness to evolve is a superpower. So change your
Hmm.
mindset, upgrade your skills, open the new doors. That's a formula, that's a truth, and that is your next chapter.
So typically, the mindset is what we have to keep working. Okay. Okay.
Yes, and
Yeah.
after 40, your age does not decide your future, your
Correct.
mindset does. That's a simple thing.
Absolutely. 200%. Yeah. 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 That final. Your key takeaways.
So whatever Padmaja and Kumar mentioned, on top of it, I would again go back to my opening comments is that know your why, that why you want to make a pivot, make a strategy, make your research that whether you are somebody who is going to go horizontal or vertical, do that gap analysis. And one thing I would definitely recommend is that do not wait to upgrade yourself till the time it's like you are in a dire situation that you have to change and you start doing it now. Always have some bit of a career plan in your head in terms of which direction you want to go. Then if you require any clarity over there, career counselors like me are already always available to help you out. And do not consider us to be as headhunters. Like if I'm counseling to you doesn't mean I will take you to a job. I will give you
Correct.
the clarity. So always reach out to people, seek help, and Kumar had already mentioned that have a mentor in your life. That would be my closing remark.
Fantastic. So mentoring mindset And Padmaja, what you said, like the skill part.
Skill part, you need to understand what the right skills for the right
Hmm.
job, and then learn about the scope of what is required. Because
Hmm.
you can't be, when you just scale up the ladder, you can't be a kind of like a horse this rain. You need to know other cross-functional departments and skill sets as well. So that you have to enrich.
Fantastic. So my concluding remarks or key takeaway from this panel discussion is market is rewarding updated skills and strong communication, not just age or a tenure. That's the first key takeaway.
Yes.
Second is upskilling is not optional anymore. You have to be mandatorily upskilling, like how we have earned our bachelor's degree, master's degree to get into our first job. Upskilling is also becoming mandatory on a regular basis. So continuous learning should be our mindset going forward. So if your profile looks outdated, opportunities will pass you by because you will keep reminding the same digital friend, and whoever is updating, upgrading their articulation on various platforms, they will move faster than you just because of articulation, not just because of skills. You might be skilled more than the other guy, but his articulation plays a major role on the LinkedIn profile and creating visibility. That becomes a major turning point in your career. The professionals who reinvent fastest win fastest. That's the framework which we have right now. With careers extending till 60 to 65, 40 is the midpoint. It's not a
Yes.
showstopper, or it's not the end to your career. That's the reality which we have to pick up. Because right now the opportunities are global. Even there are a lot of work from home opportunities, remote based opportunities. Various countries are doing those kind of opportunities. So in LinkedIn, there are a lot of remote opportunities, even for the HR professionals who cross like 50 years, 60 years. Any facilitation role, coordination role, coaching, counseling, training, you have opportunities global wide. So if you think that you are limited to Mumbai, limited to Delhi or Bangalore, that's not the case. You'll have to expand your horizons. If this is a signal which you're getting from your organization, then you have to expand globally to get those kind of an opportunity. So thank you so much for joining us today, all the panels. Thank you, Padmaja, Kumar, Mohan, and Dhaval for sharing your valuable time on a Sunday. Instead of spending your time with family, you are spending time with our audience who are looking for this kind of a knowledge. And thanks for all the audience, lovely audience who've been very, very active in last 2 hours, spending your time with us. And hopefully we will see you soon in the next panel discussion. Subscribe to this channel. We will be releasing all this kind of a shorts and videos. And if you need more counseling on the mid-career resume LinkedIn, you can book a call with us. I'll just share my QR code, so you can just scan and then take up a screenshot and book a one-to-one counseling on resume, LinkedIn, not getting interviews, job hunt, anything those kind of areas. Even with Dhaval and Padmaja, they are doing similar kind of counseling and coaching. So help is always available. It is up to us where we can utilize those kind of opportunities rather than thinking in isolation. So that's the key takeaway. So thank you so much for all the panels and all the audience. Wishing you all the best for your near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this